Hello! It is time for my next Wheel of Time vlog. So I'm now reading The Dragon Reborn, which is book 3 in the Wheel of Time series. I just need to find my place in this physical copy actually, because I've been listening to it and actually I've been following along the ebook version, which actually has been working pretty well for me so far. I don't usually like reading from my Kindle anymore because I feel like I don't absorb the story as well and I find it more difficult to concentrate for some reason, but since I'm listening and following, it actually seems to be working pretty well. And I've read a good portion of this so far. So I'd say I'm around here. I'm somewhere on page 105. So I've actually read quite a bit more than I thought I had. And this one's a bit longer than book 2, I think. I think book 1 is still the longest so far, but this one's 675 pages. So I'm not even a sixth of the way through yet. So we've had the prologue, of course, which I'm finding the prologues of these quite interesting because I can't really get my head around what's really going on with them. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the prologue from the first book anymore, and the prologue from the second book was Balzaman talking to his kind of followers or whatever and getting them to search for Rand and Perrin and Matt. And this time it was from the perspective of, well, initially the Children of the Light, but then also one of the children is also actually a dark friend, it turns out, and is working for the Murdral. So I don't know if there's supposed to be a connection between the prologues or whether I'm just used to that from Sanderson and I'm looking for something that doesn't exist. But yeah, it's interesting because I don't really see how they tie together or particularly tie to the story in that particular book. So I guess we'll see if this child or whatever comes up again throughout the course of the story. But the rest of what I've read so far has all been from Perrin's perspective, which is interesting and not what I expected at all, because this book is called The Dragon Reborn, so I presumed that Rand would be like the main character. I mean, he's still the main character, but would be the perspective character for the majority, and that still might be the case, but so far we're in Perrin's perspective, and actually I'm quite enjoying that. I find Perrin quite an interesting character and his connection with the wolves in particular is quite interesting, so I'm quite enjoying being in Perrin's perspective because we've never really been in his perspective for an extended period of time before, and as I say, we're now on page like 100 and we're still with him, so I'm quite enjoying that. I'm quite enjoying the fact that we've got Moraine and Lan back in the picture because they weren't really a part of book 2, and even though I don't really trust Moraine, I still like her as a character. And so far I'm enjoying this one the most out of the books that I've read, albeit I'm only 100 pages in, but I am enjoying this first 100 pages more than I enjoyed the first 100 pages of books 1 or 2, so that's good and I'm quite pleased about that. So I'm a little bit concerned because I'm listening to the audiobook and I basically only have like 2 days of the audiobook left, and I do listen at 2 times speed, but I have 21 hours left, so at 2 times speed I've got like 10.5-ish hours left and basically 2 days to read it. But today is Tuesday, so 2 work days, so basically I need to read like 5 hours each tomorrow and Thursday to finish it before the audiobook gets returned to the library, and I do really like listening to these, so I kind of don't want to have to finish it without that. So we'll see how I get on. I can't renew it either because there are people waiting, so that's slightly annoying. Well, it's more than slightly annoying. I'm a little bit sad about that actually. I should have started it a few days earlier, but oh well. I am enjoying it, so hopefully I can push. I mean, it's already 10 o'clock today. I actually went out for dinner for the first time in, I don't even know, like 8 months, which was really nice. So I don't even mind that I didn't do as much reading today because that was just really, really fun. But I will have to try and catch up tomorrow and see how I get on. But so far, so good with this one. I'm enjoying it. I am now quite a lot further through The Dragon Reborn. I'm on page 368, so I've read this bit. I've got this bit left to go, so a little under half left. I haven't really been updating you much. I called liking this one too early. So the name of this book is The Dragon Reborn, and yet Rand has barely been in this book so far. The first 100-ish pages we were following Perrin, and we were in Perrin's perspective, and I was really enjoying that. And part of the very sort of beginning of that, maybe the first 70-ish pages, Rand was in Perrin's vicinity, but we weren't really seeing much of him. He's had virtually no page time, even at that point. And then since then, we've been in Tar Valon the whole time. So we've been with Egwene, Elaine, Nynaeve, and a little bit in Mat's perspective, and I'm in Mat's perspective right now. And Elaine, Egwene, and Nynaeve have been instructed by the Armelin Seat to hunt for the Black Archer. And honestly, I just don't care. I am not at all interested in that storyline whatsoever. I kind of enjoyed watching Egwene go through the ceremony to become an, oh, what's the word now? Begins with an A, I've forgotten it. Anyway, and accepted. That was kind of fun, but everything else that's been going on, I seriously just don't care. I'm not engaged whatsoever. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because it started off so well, and I mean, maybe things will improve. Now we've just left Tar Valon with Mat, and he's on a ship, splashing the cash. He's hooked back up with Tom. I don't know, maybe, but I don't particularly like Mat so far. So yeah, I don't understand why this book is called The Dragon Reborn at all, because Rand is the Dragon Reborn, and yet he's not in this book so far. We're over halfway through and he's not in it. I don't understand, and I just don't care about the stuff that's happening in Tar Valon. And I don't particularly like the way that Jordan writes female characters either. Like, they're very bland, they're very surface level, their plot lines aren't particularly interesting, and it's all about, I mean, how many times is Nynaeve going to tug on her braid? I mean, seriously. Okay, we get it. She tugs on her braid when she's anxious. Can we find another way of expressing that anxiety? Maybe with some nuance? That would be nice. And I mean, how many times are people going to cross their arms below their breasts? Like, where else are you going to cross your arms? I don't need to know that. It's not relevant. So yeah, this book is frustrating me, and I'm probably frustrated as well because I've still got like basically half the book left, which is about 11.5 hours of the book still to go, and my audiobook is due to be returned basically tomorrow. I don't even know what time tomorrow, so I'm probably not even going to finish this book before I lose the audiobook, which means I'm going to have to go back on the hold queue, because I'm definitely not finishing this one physically, especially if it carries on the way it's going, because I just won't care enough to do it. I barely care enough to keep listening, to be honest. And I've heard that book 4 is where things really get going, and you know, the first 2 books were fine. I'm okay with pushing through one book to get to the good stuff, but yeah, this book is not the best. Maybe we'll have an amazing ending and I will change my mind and really like this one again, but as of right now, I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest, and a bit irritated. So hopefully things are going to improve. I am going to try and read as much of it tonight as I can. It's already 9:30, so I don't know. The problem is that I'm so bored with this book I keep falling asleep, which has not helped with the fact that I've needed to finish it within a short space of time. So I'm probably going to do some colouring in tonight while I read it to keep myself alert, and hopefully I can get through at least a couple more hours before I go to bed, and then hopefully my audiobook will expire after work tomorrow so that I can finish it. But honestly, I don't know, because it just says 1 day and I don't know when that 1 day ends, so I don't know. But so far, not impressed, unfortunately. Hello. I currently cannot find my vlog footage for my read of The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan, which is book 3 in the Wheel of Time series, which is annoying because I've been vlogging reading these books, so hopefully I can find it. But if I can't find it, then you'll be seeing this piece of footage here. Either way, I forgot to end the vlog, so I want to do that now and talk about my feelings on this book generally. If I find the other footage, you will have heard some of what I think already, in which case I will just cut those pieces out of this section. This is kind of a weird way to film this video really, but we're just gonna have to kind of go with it because I don't really know what's happened with that footage. Hopefully it's somewhere. Anyway, I read The Dragon Reborn, book 3, and I think it's my least favourite of the 3 so far, which I think is an unpopular opinion from what I've seen. It seems like people really like this one and feel like this is where the series starts to improve, and I don't know, it didn't really work so well for me. I don't understand the title, first of all, because Rand is barely in this book. He's got like a couple of very minor scenes and I don't even think we really get his perspective properly at any points. I think we possibly get one very small section with his perspective at the beginning, but otherwise we're following the other characters, we're in the perspective of the other characters, we're not following Rand at all. I mean, the other characters are literally following Rand, but we as the reader are not following Rand. So I don't understand this title choice. Apparently that's a common critique anyway, so at least there's that. So we follow Perrin for the first portion, and I was really enjoying that. I was enjoying being in Perrin's perspective, I was enjoying following what was happening to Perrin, and all of that was good. I was enjoying the first probably 100 pages of this roughly, and then we left Perrin's perspective and we went and spent a lot of time with Nynaeve, Egwene, Elaine and also Matt, and I didn't love those perspectives as much. The stuff that was happening in Tar Valon I wasn't particularly interested in. It didn't intrigue me. They were trying to figure things out, but I didn't really care, and I don't think that that's really the book's fault. That's just a me thing, but I don't love the way that Jordan writes women so far in the series. I don't find them as nuanced as some of his male characters are, and Nynaeve in particular really bugged me in this one. I didn't feel tension over the things that were happening, even when there's that one scene where they find a dead body after having been attacked with the arrows. Like, I didn't feel stressed or tense or worried for the characters at all. And I mean, I will say that part of that is the fact that I am coming to this series at a point in time when the series is finished, and I know that Nynaeve in particular is an important and well-loved character. So I'm not necessarily as concerned reading about things happening to her in this book as the people who were reading it at the time that it came out were, or at the time that the series wasn't finished were. So there is that, and I do acknowledge that. But I don't know, I didn't find those storylines interesting, and the culmination of the book when they all met. Where was it they met? I can't remember the name of the place now. But they all met in one central location so that Rand could get the sword, and I was kind of, by that point in the book, I'd kind of lost interest anyway. So even though it was a nice fast-paced finale, I wasn't that bothered about it by then, because I'd spent, you know, what, 300-ish pages just being like, okay, I don't really care. So that impacted on my enjoyment of the ending in particular. And also the other thing I don't like is the fact that there's, you know, at the end of the second book, there was all of this furore about Rand accepting the fact that he's the Dragon Reborn. But then we go through the exact same thing at the end of this book. It's like, oh, now he has the sword, now he can accept that he's the Dragon Reborn. I'm like, I thought we already did that. Why are we doing that again? That's a nitpicky thing. It's just something that slightly bothered me. Those are my thoughts. It's been a couple of weeks actually since I read this now, so it's not as fresh in my mind, but those are all of the kind of thoughts that I was having as I was reading this one. I am on hold for the fourth book, but I'm going to be waiting for that for a while. I think it's got a 12-week wait list at the moment, so I don't know when I'm going to be getting to book 4. I still want to continue with the series. I'm not kind of DNFing it or anything, so if you don't see a video from me for a while, it's not because I've DNF'd the series, it's because I'm waiting for the audiobook to come through from the library. But yeah, it's my least favourite of the trilogy? No. It's my least favourite of the 3 I've read so far, but I didn't dislike it enough to want to DNF the series, so that's where I'm at with Wheel of Time. And I'll leave this here, I guess. Check out Ponderful Books in the description, and that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye!